due to the rising water in Venice and other stuff, Venice is actually really different in most cities. It's actually got a system. We put in a system in 1920 or something like that, where certain parts, I don't know if it's still there, it's probably rusted by now, but it had locks where you close these doors, the storm doors, basically. And what you can actually do, because the water crests over the thing, and the storm surge can be huge, and it'll crest over. What it can actually do is you can actually drain the city. We actually did drain the city one time. You can actually drain the whole city. You can lock off huge sections of the city, and you can actually drain them one by one. I think what it is there's a river or something, and you can lock off the river with doors. There's these doors that go and they close, and so you can drain like huge sections of the city all the way down, or at least you could. And then that way, when the storm surge comes in, and you can also close off the river, or do something with the river where, well, the river I think goes through, but it minimizes the flooding to basically just where the river is, where the river mouth is. There's like one channel that goes in, and there's a bunch of other stuff, and then there's huge sections where you can actually close the doors on and go, and it works like Panama, where you can actually, and then you hit this button. You'd hit this button back in the old days, and you click, and these giant pumps would turn on, and there's these tubes that go underneath there, and it can actually, and basically what happens is the buildings are designed, and everything's designed to where a storm surge will actually be kept out, and the storm surge that does spill over will just spill into the empty water, and it'll just fill up the empty spots. Anyway, it was tested. It worked. A long time ago. It's really, really expensive. But basically, these great big locks will close, and there's certain sections of the city that it's old. It's an old system. It's like from like the 1800s or something like that, where these doors close, and you can actually suck all the water out of these places. And it's for storm surge actually, and for possible cleaning. But you can basically lock off and then suck these sections dry. And you can clean them, or during a storm surge, if the storm's like, what it'll do is the water will just spill into the empty sections and then fill up, and usually storm surges only last about like a day or 2 or 3 days, before it's called, and the pumps will constantly be going sucking all the water out, and it'll keep all the other houses, like all the other houses, from getting flooded by the storm surge. So because these houses are going to get flooded, sure, but then these other houses, they're behind the wall or behind the whatever, and these doors lock off, so it just spills over from the river, and it spills into these giant sections, and you can suck down like, I think 30% of the city or something like that. Like it's like 30. There's like 3 systems basically. There's 3 suction systems, great big huge suction systems where these big pumps will, and they pump out. I mean, it's probably abandoned and dead by now. I think they might have taken out the pumps because they didn't need them or something like that, and Rasputin would have pulled them out anyway. But basically, there were these doors that would close, and they would lock off like about 30% of the city or more, and mostly the sections along where the storm surge would hit, you'd be able to lock those off and then drain them all down. And you could drain the whole section behind there. So when the storage surge comes, it would just be spilling into that section, and then the pumps could keep up. And even during a storm surge, the pumps were designed to be able to keep up during the whole storm surge. So it might fill up most of the way or almost all the way with storm water, but it'd be constantly be pumping out. Anyway, though, we spent like a lot of money on Venice. A lot of money. Like, it'll never be paid off. But yeah, I mean, it was designed for storm surge, and it actually was fine for quite a long time, even though the water was coming up. So anyway, those doors were down there, way down there. I don't know how far. Like I say, there should be stone down there or something. It should be hard down there. I think it was a stone quarry or something. Some places are lower than others. I don't really know. I mean, there's maps of everything. Like, every inch of Venice has been mapped. Like, they know every inch. Because originally the water was lower, so we knew where everything was. And it had actually existed there 10,000 years before the water got there. So So anyway, so it's really an old city. So nice city, LS.